A very good afternoon. My name is Sandeep Kalra. I'm the chef at the Ritz Carlton, Bangalore. Good welcome to all our viewers. We are getting collaborated with Amul India for this show, and we are doing something for our Ramzan festival. So Ramzan, as you know, it is the month of Ramzan. So we will be doing a specialty bread. Now it's called Sheermal. It's one of the most celebrated breads in the world, along with the French breads, of course. Now, Sheermal actually originated from Iran, where in Persian Urdu, it means sheer and mal. If you break it down, sheer means milk and mal means to rub. So it is basically a milk rub bread, which has elaichi, which has saffron, which has lots of ghee, milk, flour, and yes, a pure love. So we would be doing a nice sheermal today. Now also, going as per what is going on the COVID season, I'm very fortunate to be still working and preparing and doing what I do the best, that is cooking in the kitchens. So, but I pray for the entire country, the viewers, the families, and basically the whole entire team of the Ritz Carlton and the Marriott Group to stay well, to stay safe and recover as soon as possible from the COVID, and we start doing what we are good at. So starting with the recipe today. So I've got a few ingredients lined up. So if you can see, it is milk, one of the most important ingredients of the recipe today. We have yeast, elaichi powder, saffron, we have salt, we have grain sugar, then we have desi ghee, clarified butter as you call it, and a very important ingredient called sugar syrup, which has a lot of flavor of saffron. So this I've done it before, so because otherwise with the due course in time we won't have so much of opportunity available to do everything from the scratch. So I have my refined flour here, which is also the base of the recipe. So let's start with making our sheermal. So I'm going to use milk. Milk is lukewarm. So make sure your milk is lukewarm, otherwise you can't get your yeast activated. So approximately 300 grams of milk. Sugar, which is around 250 grams. Grain sugar is good. If you have castor sugar at home, it is even better. But I'm going to dissolve this grain sugar in my milk. So just mix it nicely. If you have a whisk, use your whisk to mix it up properly. It's easier. But make sure your milk is neither cold nor hot. Otherwise, the activation of the yeast will become a problem. So sugar almost is done because my milk was warm, and I'm going to use the yeast, approximately 10 grams of yeast, or you can say a tablespoon. Here you are. And to activate the complete mixture, you need salt. So I'll use only half a teaspoon of salt in it. Now this mixture, give it again a nice stir. Almost ready. I'm just going to cover it up and place it aside for approximately 10 minutes while we gather our rest of the ingredients. So just cover. It's better to do it airtight. So you do it with the cling wrap, cover all the sides and keep it aside. So nearly 10 minutes, we'll keep it aside. By the time I'm going to get rest of the ingredients ready, clean bowl again. So make sure it is clean. You put a wet towel underneath your bowl so that it does not move. So I'm going to take the flour, approximately 350 grams of flour. This is refined flour. I'm going to add cardamom powder, around a teaspoon of cardamom powder. A few strands of saffron. They will really look good once your bread is getting made. So I'm just going to put them in. And your activated milk. So 10 minutes up and I have this mixture ready. So I'm just going to knead the dough. Make sure you sanitize your hands well, because dough needs to be made with hand. You can't wear a glove and start making the dough. So most important part, sanitize your hand well and then start making your dough. So the activated yeast milk, what we had kept on the side, but you have to rest it for 10 minutes when you're doing it at home. So the mixture goes in and I'm going to slowly knead it. Now this is being a simple recipe being showcased today, it needs a lot of work as well. So I would request, get your loved ones by your side, they will help you out and you'll spread love as well and you'll get the things right also at the same time. So let's make a dough of it. This is the tough part. So you need somebody else at home to do it for you. Husband, brother, son. So they will do the dough. Now this dough has to be a little tight because later we are going to incorporate a lot of clarified butter into it. That is desi ghee. So you make sure the dough is tight. It should not be loose at all. Otherwise the recipe will not come out. What measures I'm telling you today, I'm sure you're not writing it down, but you will have them available later as a part of offering. And also you can hook on to the Ritz Carlton Bangalore page, like it, and I will post the recipe there. So you have all the ingredients listed step by step, whatever you need. So that is all going to be there with you, but you need to visit the Ritz Carlton page then. It's going to be sticky first and then it will get to the Now I'm going to put in the rest of the flour. You have to use 350 grams of flour to approximately 300 ml milk. Make sure everything gets mixed up properly. And start rubbing it slowly now. See, your dough is getting hard. It's almost there, but we still have a tablespoon of flour which is left. That's about it. Now comes the heavier part. I'm going to knead it all up. All the flour has been incorporated with the milk. Now I'm going to use my table to do the work. So clean table, and now easily you can work upon the dough. Because it's a hard dough, so you'll have to work upon it a little bit more. And make sure once everything gets mixed, everything on the table can be taken along. Okay, once everything gets mixed together, we're going to place it back in the bowl, and I'll leave it on to fermentation for approximately 10 minutes. I'm going to see it after 10 minutes. Yes, here is my fermented dough. It is just a 10 minutes of rest that you have to give. Now is the main part of layering it. You have the dough ready. You have your desi ghee. Now what we need to do is we need to incorporate this approximately 150 ml of desi ghee into our dough. And this needs to be done in a particular motion. When you're mixing it, you should not be flipping over the dough. It has to stay upright, and you will work only on the top surface. Okay. The complete desi ghee into the dough. Now we need to just make nets of it inside. This is a very important process in making the sheermal. It's also called netting. And you need to rub it. Again, bring it to the center and start making a net-like structure in the dough. This is quite a time-consuming thing. Plus, it's going to keep you busy in this lockdown inside the home, and you do a tasty dish as well. So again, in the center, smoothen it up. And you do the next netting. Now nowhere in between I'm going to turn this dough. I'm just going to play on it for approximately 20 minutes. So that's the hard part of it. Again, you make nets with your fingers. And smoothen it up with your complete hand. Bring it all together. Again, repeat the same process. And smoothen it up. So with this, we are incorporating a lot of clarified butter into our dough, which is going to make flakes inside the dough. And when we do the sheermal, it will be very visible in the texture that it has a net-like a structure inside. Although on the top, it will be very smooth, it will be nice, but inside it will have a very good netty texture, which is very much desired. Okay, so you continue this for 20 minutes approximately, and then we make a dough out of it. Once this whole the clarified butter incorporates in the dough, we will give it a rest of approximately 2 hours. So let me come back to you. All right. Now I've already pre-made the dough and kept it for you because 2 hours rest is not a luxury right now. So we can't really do it. So this has been rested for approximately 2 hours after you incorporate in the complete flour. So now we need to portion it into dough balls and then flatten it, and then we need to cook it. Okay, so I'm going to take this out, take some flour, and then roll it. Basically, you need to degash your dough. There would be a lot of gas after this inside. There would be a lot of air bubbles. You need to remove them, and basically so it helps in the leavening process. So approximate portion size, I would say 120 grams. You cut the dough for 120 grams. And then make balls out of it. Flour the base. Again, the same process for all of them. And once you make the dough balls, you need to rest it for approximately, again, 5 to 7 minutes. Because you've taken out all the air from it, and now that air would regenerate in a different form. So 4 portion bowls are ready now. Now is the time. Rest it for 5 to 7 minutes, and now we will start making it. Preheat your oven for approximately 230 degrees, and it's going to cook for approximately 7 to 8 minutes. So oven needs to be ready when you're in this process. So my oven is ready. Little bit flour, and then you roll them. The dough is so soft, you can actually work upon it like a pizza dough as well. But then you need the smooth texture. Okay, the interesting part starts now. You can't keep this bread rolling to be very thin. You just need a little bit thicker bread because it has a lot of yeast in it as well. Now this size would be good, and it is quite a heavy bread as well. Now we have to again make a netting texture out of on top of it. So either you can take a dough docker, which is available in professional places, or you can actually use something like a wooden stick to give a lot of marks on it. So I'm going to use this so that you can easily do it at home. So just watch how I need to do it. You take the thicker surface and just start marking the bread. Now, as you know, Sheermal is a very popular bread. It is one of the most celebrated breads in the world. Now, in Iran, they use it as a souvenir to gift it to the people who are visiting you or whom you're saying goodbye to. They give bread as a souvenir. So imagine the importance of this bread in Iran and other greater Iran countries, which is Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Afghanistan. So all these places, you would use this bread. Now I'm going to just put it in the oven. You can show the texture, Upasna. You are a hot tray. So your tray is hot, oven is hot, and I'm just gonna put my sheermal on top of it and bake it approximately at 230 degrees for 7 to 8 minutes in a hot oven. In goes the sheermal, and now it's time for the main setup. So Sheermal, I already have one piece of ready Sheermal inside, so that we don't have to waste time. Here comes the prepared one out. Hot enough. Now we have to do the main thing. Just watch it carefully. Couple of steps. So once the sheermal comes out, I'm going to glaze it with clarified butter or desi ghee. Basically, you have to soak this bread in be very generous, because it's going to drink as much as you pour on it, because it's got so much of substance inside. Okay, the first step is done. You've glazed it with clarified butter. The second step, once the clarified butter get absorbed, which you can see right now it is drinking, you will have this sugar syrup with saffron on it. So take a heapful thing and glaze it on top again. Here you are. Look at the sheermal now. So this one will soak up whatever excess liquid you have on top, and it will become soft and moist. So you can break it into four. Best enjoyed in Lucknow with kebabs. You can have a lovely Sikh kebab, chicken tikka, paneer tikka, tandoori aloo, or in northern part, that is Delhi, Agra, and nearby places, you will enjoy it with curries and kormas. My favorite one being the nahari. Now, if you're an early morning breakfast person, you will go out into the old city, have this with a wholesome nahari, dip this into it, dunk it in, and then have it. So I think you're going to enjoy this. You cut it and then savor a bite of it. I would sincerely like to thank you to Amul India also for giving us the opportunity to collaborate with them for a fantastic Ramzan, which is going on in the month. So the Ramzan Sheermal is ready for you. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Stopped.